Hello and welcome to the sixth episode of the High Council Podcast. I am one of your many hosts, Ferno9, and today I've got my wonderful co-host with me. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, this is Captain Deadpool 97. Thank you again for tuning in on another episode of the High Council Podcast. We have something special today and someone special. So, moving forward, you will find out soon.
Guy?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello. Welcome back. Sorry, I can't multitask. I'm going to step away from the computer now.
Alright, and then the special guest. Introduce yourself, Mr. Man.
I am the something special that Captain Deadpool was referring to. So I am the Scotty B, today's special guest on today's podcast, and I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. Alright, so today's topic is kind of bouncing off of what we talked about. I believe it was the last podcast. We talked about Marvel, and today we're going to go through the DC universe because we're all nerds in a massive way, so we balance between all of it. So today we're going to discuss DC. Now. Should we? I don't remember if we did last time, but even if we did, we can refresh on who our favorite DC heroes are. And obviously, we haven't heard Scotty's yet. But Deadpool, who is your favorite DC hero / just favorite DC character?
So my favorite DC character is going to have to be Batman. And I have my reasons for this. We will get into that later. But that is my all-time favorite, of course, is Batman.
All right. And then Guy?
My favorite is Green Arrow.
All right, nice. And then my favorite is Nightwing. And Mac even coming in here with the shout that his favorite is The Flash. But then the special guest, who we have not heard yet, Scotty, who is your favorite DC character?
Mine is definitely going to be the Red Hood, hands down.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on similar wavelength here, are we? All right, nice.
That's my sacred.
I mean, he is a pretty fucking awesome character. All right, so I think when it comes to, because obviously we're going to delve into what happens with our favorite characters, I think that the most obvious one in multiple ways to start off with is Deadpool's with Batman. Not just because I believe Batman is probably, obviously next to Superman, he's probably the most known superhero name within DC. One of the biggest ever. But also, obviously, your boy is getting a movie.
Yes.
Another movie. Jeez, how many is this? Number 8 or something?
It's more than that.
Yeah.
3 Christian Bale movies, 2 Tim Burton movies, 1 Batman Forever. Then there's Batman and Robin. Then there's
Batman Forever.
vs. Superman, if you count that. I've already said that.
Oh, you did,
Then
yeah.
there's Batman vs. Superman. There was Justice League he was in.
Yeah,
There's like 1,000 animated movies he's in.
Yeah, when it comes to just solo movies, this will be number 8 when it comes to cinematic on the big screen, I believe. Or I guess Mask of the Phantasm was a theatrical release, but when it comes to live action, this is his 8th live action movie, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Because you got the 4, then you got the trilogy, and now you got this one. Jesus fucking Christ, how many Batmans have you had and fucking 1 Wolverine? All right. Anyways, so again, I think that Batman is probably the obvious to start talking about. So Deadpool, considering he is your favorite, I guess the first thing to hop onto is, what do you think or expect from the new movie? What do you think of it?
Oh, what a loaded question.
Indeed.
Well, what I'd hope to see is something that lives up to the Christian Bale movies, because those are my favorite Batman movies.
Oh yeah.
I was very disappointed with Batman versus Superman, but that's just some personal views. I think they could have executed that movie in a better way. I think the fight scene could have ended in a better way. For as long as for what I expect out of the new movie, like I said, something that's going to live up to the Christian Bale movies, something that introduces new people throughout Batman's life. I don't want to see another origin story. We have fucking 7 or 8 of those. I want to see something new and original. I want to see stuff that's in the comics that hasn't been made into a movie or a cartoon already. I want to see something badass, you know, like you take Arkham Knight, the video game, something like that, like something new and exciting and something that really just captures the crowd and wants to see 2, 3, 4, 5 more made with, unfortunately, Pattinson as Batman. But I think the character selection or the actor selection was a letdown, but you know, I'm keeping high hopes just because, you know, maybe he can do justice for this, no pun intended.
So you don't like Pattinson as a casting?
I do not. I don't like him as an actor, period.
Oh,
well, if you think about it, though, nobody also liked Heath Ledger when they cast him as a Joker, and he ended up being hands down the best Joker.
That is true. That is true.
That is very true. That is very true.
So, it might be possible. Might be, you know, pleasantly surprised.
Hopefully, you know, hopefully they did their due diligence with choosing him. Hopefully they have their reasons why they chose him.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't just something where they were like, oh, he's got a big name, let's throw him in there.
In that case, they would probably have gone for someone like, I don't know, what's his name? The guy, the fucking Disney kid who was in Baywatch.
Oh, Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, They were big names. They're choosing Zac Efron or The Rock or something.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, hopefully it's something that's new and exciting and we haven't seen before. Like I said, I'm not looking to spend money to go watch another origin story that everyone in the world already knows his origin story.
How many times have we seen his parents die now?
Yeah, you know.
Every Batman movie.
But what do you think of, because I mean obviously the topic is Batman, but the rest of the cast does matter. What do you think of the rest of the cast of the movie? Is there, like, for example, with Gordon and stuff like that? Any thoughts on it?
Honestly, it's you got to add in the aspect that it is a new generation Batman movie. So they're trying to capture younger audiences and older audiences all at once. I think the cast lineup is decent for being the other characters. My only issue with the whole thing overall was just having Robert as Batman because, like I said, I'm not a fan of him as an actor. I think everyone else might do well. Overall, I don't know. The biggest thing that I had an issue with was just, you know what I mean, like Robert Pattinson playing fucking Batman. That was what was really starting to grind on my nerves a little bit. But all in all, we can only cross our fingers and hope that they all do decent with it. But
yeah,
I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves, the director for this, is a great director in general. So I think this is hopefully going to end up well.
Yeah,
but
no, it does also seem like, now I don't know where he is when it comes to like your favorite Batman villains, but it seems like Riddler is definitely gonna be the main guy in this one.
I'm glad we're gonna get a different version of Riddler.
I think that obviously, like when it comes to those four movies from the 80s, that's when they went, right? 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
The 3 movies from the 90s.
Yeah. So because I think like, when it comes, the first 2 movies, I definitely liked. The second 2, obviously they get mixed reviews. But I feel like the Riddler in that, I think that was a mistake. Now, obviously, back in the 90s and stuff, like it was a different time, so everything with film was different. Now I don't know how much you guys have paid attention to the show Gotham. But the Riddler there, I fucking love him. I love that show in general. There's a lot of characters. It's a very interesting take on the entire, you know, everything that has to do with Gotham. It's a very interesting TV show, in my opinion. The Riddler there is amazing. So I hope, now the same actor won't be there. And I don't want the same actor to be there because they're different stories. But I think that, for one, I think the Riddler is a good villain to go for. But 2, I just hope that they make a good Riddler. I don't want the same shenanigans that happened back then. I want a good Riddler who lives up to the way that he is in the comics. Now, I'm not saying that he has to have the fucking flashy onesie with all the fucking question marks on it. But, like, give him like a dark green coat, a dark green top hat, and, like, a purple shirt or something inside to make us know it is definitely the Riddler. Make him look iconic. Whether you copy something from another comic that's a bit more gritty, or whether you give him a completely new iconic look that everyone's gonna know, like the Heath Ledger Joker. Right. I don't care. I just want him to look good, and I want him to fit within the universe, and I want him to fit the Pattinson Batman, because that is the most important thing here. Is fit the Riddler to the Batman, fit the two characters together, because you can't, if you have Batman and then he's one way and then the Riddler, okay, yeah, they're different characters, but he has to fit within the narrative of how this Batman works. Like when you have the old TV show, everything was very like bright colors and a bit wacky, but it fit to the Batman.
Well, it was for children.
Yeah, it was for children. So, and the Batman there was a bit wacky and all the holy whatever that Robin throws out, right? So, fit the villain to the hero so that they work together as how they're supposed to, and you got a great movie. And I hope that Riddler is good here. I just hope that he's a good Riddler for both for the DC in general, but also for the character of the Riddler. Because if they make two Riddlers and they both flop on the big screen, you could probably never use him again. Like that's what I feared with, which we're going a bit off topic with this, but that's what I feared with Venom. I was like, if they fuck up in the Venom movie, you can never use this character again because he's fucked up 2 times. Luckily, he succeeded. But so I just hope that this Riddler, I hope he's good, and I hope that Pattinson does a good job, which I personally think he will. So yeah, it's just my thoughts on it.
Well, there's 2 actors that are going to be in this movie that I'm honestly super excited to see, and I'm excited for Peter Sarsgaard and Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
2 really well-known actors that I think are going to do an amazing job. So those 2, I kind of put it at a disappointing note before, but those 2 are actually lifting my hopes that maybe this can be pulled off. Maybe it can be, a really good movie. They have some people in here that everyone knows that have been in great movies. Colin Farrell, in my opinion, blew it as Bullseye in Daredevil, but
I was about to say.
I remember those. Those movies were funny. What are you talking about?
I was about to say you got Bullseye and Pennywise. That's what you got there.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a great actor, so I think he's going to do a good job.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Guy or Scotty, any of you have any specific thoughts on the movie specifically?
Scotty, go first. I have some pictures I gotta find real quick, and then I will.
I got a lot of thoughts on this movie.
Got a lot of thoughts. All right.
So I'm going with pretty open mind, honestly. Because yes, it kind of seemed like a reboot a little bit, but at the same time, with the direction, but Marvel and especially DC are going, they're about to dive into this whole multiverse nonsense.
Yeah,
and I think this is supposed to be another version of Batman from a different Earth, not necessarily the same the Batfleck.
Yeah,
because if you look at like the movie description, this movie, it literally is about Batman literally in his second year of crime fighting. So this is a very, very early young Batman who is still kind of learning how to actually be like a detective, which I think is what this movie's going to dive into, is more about his detective work, not really so much like him being this brutal crime fighter, kind of how he was like Batman v Superman when he was definitely killing people 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like why.
But then he had been Batman for what, 20 years?
Yeah, that was an old seasoned Batman.
So then he will have gone through every single Robin. So he will have been through some shit.
Right. So I think it's a deep dive more into the detective aspect of him and actually solving crimes versus him being this big old street fighter. Which obviously you do kind of get a glimpse of him like just beating the shit out of that one dude.
Yeah.
And then as far as
the Riddler, that was awesome.
So the first trailer they gave us was it last year during the DC fandom when they showed the Riddler for the first time.
Yeah.
My first impression was I thought it was Hush. That's what it looked like a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because how he was wrapped.
That's what I thought first as well.
Which if you've watched the Batman Hush movie, the anime film, which is fantastic, they do reveal that version of Hush is the Riddler.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is the direction they're going with that, or if it's strictly just going to be the Riddler, like 100%.
It could be, and it would be definitely would be cool, but I don't want it because I do want Hush to be himself. He's one of the characters that I do want to see on the big screen, and I think that if they do that, then if they're ever going to introduce him, it will have to be like, oh, he's a copycat or something. I don't want that. I do want the real Hush to be Hush. So if they make Riddler the main villain and then make the Hush kind of like a side character that will they'll introduce him a bit and then show him off later, I'll be fine with that. But I do hope that they don't go that route, because I think that Hush is a very cool character that can do something with, especially in this Pattinson verse.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
And I definitely think the Riddler is going to be the main protagonist. But, you also know Colin Farrell, he's playing the Penguin.
Yeah.
You have Catwoman in this. And I've seen, I don't know if it was an official photo, but allegedly Killer Croc is also in this movie.
Oh. See, the issue for me is we're going to have another Spider-Man 3 sequence. They introduce how many villains in one movie? I think that if Spider-Man 3, if they had introduced, let's say, 2 of them in the first in number 3, and then the other 2 in the 4th one or whatever the fuck.
Are we talking Toby's?
Yeah. Then we would have been good. But when you then introduce Venom, Sandman, fucking Harry as some sort of Green Goblin, and you introduce who was the last one? Anyways, there was too many villains in one movie that you just introduced in that movie. That's the issue. Now, let's say that if Riddler is the main villain, I wouldn't have anything against a cameo from Killer Croc, a quick one. I wouldn't have anything against a cameo from a few characters, but stick to one main villain with maybe one side villain or whatever the fuck. That's kind of like under his whip that you don't see too much of, but a little bit. Just introduce him so he might be the main one for the next movie or whatever. I don't want 4 fucking main villains in one movie, because then we're going to have an issue.
Yeah, that was one of the issues I had with Batman v Superman, was because, Batman vs. Superman has its own separate story. Superman vs. Doomsday is its own separate story.
Yeah,
and then they threw Wonder Woman in there, like in the mix of all of it. It's like, I don't really understand. What are you guys doing with this movie? You're throwing like 3 stories into one movie.
They went the reverse Marvel formula. It's like you don't do Superman and then all of a sudden you do Superman.
I have a rant for this that I could go on for hours. I'm going to try and sum it up real quick. The audacity these motherfuckers have to have Superman in 2 fucking movies and then just fucking kill him. Like, what? Excuse me? I've met Henry Cavill twice before, ever. And that was in both of these movies and his Superman. I want to get to know this Superman like in the comic books, like I did the old one, and like I did in Smallville. And I met this Superman twice, and you killed him at the end of the movie. What?
He also got robbed for, like, I believe the Captain America role or something like that. But anyways, so you don't, and you don't fuck it up like this. You go Superman movie, okay, that's already done. Then you do maybe Wonder Woman, and then Batman, and then that is when you do the big thing. That's when you do the Avengers thing. You get Iron Man, then you get maybe Iron Man 2, then Captain America, whatever. You establish characters first, and then boom, the big reveal. Oh shit, Lex Luthor is going to get Doomsday here. Oh,
I don't think Doomsday should have been a thing. It should have been amazing.
No. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. We can discuss that, but that's a discussion for another time, essentially. But my thought is that if you want to have Doomsday, to me, I don't give a fuck. Have some sort of big bad, but don't establish all these characters in this movie. We had no fucking we didn't know shit about fucking Ben Affleck's Batman. We didn't know shit about Wonder Woman. We didn't know shit about anyone. The only person that we actually had info on was Superman. But the only thing that he did last time was he fought Zod. Okay.
Yeah, and he destroyed most of Metropolis.
Now this might be an unpopular opinion, but like the thing of Batman from the get-go kind of being a bit against Superman, I have no issue with. Have those two have a bit of conflict. All right, cool. But at least have a Batman movie first, establishing how the character works. Because we have no clue. When people went into the cinema and all of a sudden we see this Batman killing. Okay, he later says that it's 20 years in Gotham. Okay, then he's probably lost all 4 fucking Robins. Okay.
Yeah.
He's been through some shit. But establish that in a different movie so we know why he's killing people and fucking branding them.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Batman branding them.
What is wrong with you?
If they had a Batman movie before establishing a good reason for that, or any reason at all, I probably wouldn't have really had any case against it. But when you all of a sudden, you go into the cinema, you see Batman versus Superman. Okay, we know how the Superman works. Cool. This is Batman. We know how Batman in general works. This is not how he works. Then what the fuck did we just watch? I'm going on a bit of a rant, but my point still stands. The establishing they did there just didn't work.
Yeah, so reeling it back in a little bit we were talking about the cast of this. Scott,
I actually have something to say about that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I have 4 pictures that when they first introduced the Batman, like the idea of it, when they said Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, I was on Facebook one day and I found these 4 pictures and I'm going to put them in our group chat.
All right.
I'm uploading them now. I had found them while waiting, and I thought this was legit, but it was just a fan art that people were making, and it's a really good cast. That at least from what I thought.
Ooh.
And but I guess for YouTube we can put them on screen for this, and for SoundCloud we're just about to read off. But it was Andy Serkis would be playing the Penguin, because I think he'd do really good at it. Just being
Alfred in this
gangster. Yeah, he's Alfred in this one, but this was all before they had the whole movie written. It was just the announcements. And then Oscar Isaac as Hush was when I was eyeing. Cool. And then my favorite of these, David Tennant as the Riddler. David Tennant made a wonderful bad guy in Jessica Jones as Kilgrave.
Yeah.
And he's in the fourth Harry Potter. He's the Doctor. Like, come on. This guy has so many different sides to him. It would be amazing to see like an evil mastermind kind of behind everything. And then, of course, Robert Pattinson as Batman. Well, we got that out of the way a minute ago. See, I don't mind Robert Pattinson being Batman because I want to give him a chance. You know, he only did Twilight for the money, most likely. And
all right, I'm gonna get up the fan art right now because it is pretty cool. All right, so here we got the and Andy Serkis as Penguin. It looks pretty. He definitely does fit the role, I would say.
He does. He fits it. He fits it.
And then here we got Mr. Tennant, also looking pretty good as Riddler, and that is part of what I mean with how they can make him look good, because you realize that is Riddler, the green suit, the bowler hat, like it's amazing, and that's what I want. And then you got Oscar Isaac as Hush, which I would love, but being a Moon Knight fan, seeing him as Moon Knight right now, I think that he should just focus on that. Because we've seen people cross before. Actually, you know what? I just realized people can't actually see them because I'm an idiot. But there we go. There is.
I'm looking at the Twitch stream. I can see it fine.
Oh, okay. So you saw the pictures.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures. Like I got on there just to like make sure everything was running fine.
Oh, okay. No, then,
And yeah, I'm looking at now. The pictures did show up.
All right. Okay. Nice. Okay. Then no issues then. All right. Because I thought I had to save the screen. Okay. Max says he sees them. That's good. Then we're all good. But yeah, those castings would definitely have been amazing. But we have what we have now. But I'm excited for it. Now obviously Deadpool, this is your thing. So what do you think? Where do you think that? Because now we've definitely delved into the movie now. Where do you see the character of Batman? Now obviously we haven't seen the movie yet, but where do you see the character of Batman going after this movie? Do you think that? Now I don't know where Affleck's at. I don't know if he's gonna stay in the role. But what do you think about specifically about this Pattinson verse? Where do you think that they're gonna take that?
So, honestly, I think kind of coming back onto what Scott said about everyone doing the whole alternate universes, the MCU is doing their thing, DC's trying to dab into that a little bit. I think what might happen, and this is just pure speculation, is that Pattinson's going to have his own line of Batman movies where he is Batman, obviously. And then, Justice League is going to stay the same. If they continue to push movies out for that, that's going to stay the same. They're going to keep the same Batman, the same Superman, the same Wonder Woman, whatever the case may be. But I think as far as this movie's lineup, I think, Pattinson's going to stay. I think Zoe Kravitz is going to stay. I think, all the people who are currently in the major roles for Batman's team, like Jeffrey Wright. I think all these people are going to stay here in this universe with however many Batman movies they try to pump out with this. Yeah. I think there could be eventually, a crossover where he goes into the Justice League universe. And, you have the two Batmans meeting or fighting side by side. I think that would be a cool idea. I think it'd be very interesting. But also, I think if done poorly, it could be a disaster. So, yeah, if I'm being, if I'm being optimistic about it, hopefully it'll come out amazing, and hopefully the crossover, if they decide to do that, would be amazing. I really don't want to see it as just like a one-hit film, which nowadays I don't think is even a thing anymore. But
nobody just does one film. But they do a film, and then like, hey, let's make a sequel that ties into this other movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so because I think we all probably like Batman and we're probably all fans of him, but as the Batman fan in the room essentially, what do you like Affleck? And I'm thinking of just in general, like for example, did your mind change after the Snyder Cut? Did you like him from the start? Did you like him after the Snyder? Do you still not like him, for example? Like, what's your thought on him? And because when you've said that, I have a bit of a theory on what his role is going to be within the DCEU right now. So if you can just, what do you think of him?
Yeah, so I think at first I was very skeptical. At first I did not like him at all. I didn't think he fit the part well. But I think after, putting Daredevil out of my mind and putting, hey, he's actually doing pretty decent with this one, I think I got over that hump of he's going to fuck this up. I think I was like, honestly, he's not doing too bad. He could be better, but he could definitely be way worse. At the same time, I'm not in his shoes, so I'm not reading the script that they're writing and doing what they're telling him to do. Yeah. So at the same time, it's really a tough situation to wrap my mind around. But I think for the position he's in and for the potential of falling on his face, I think he's holding it up really well. And I think at first I was not with it, but I think I'm on board with it now. I don't mind Affleck being a Batman. He did a lot better than what I was expecting. And then that little, honestly, spoilers here, the little teaser they had at the end of the Snyder Cut, I think that would be super awesome to pursue. That is something I was looking forward to, and I haven't heard anything about it since.
And that is one thing I like, is that we haven't heard anything about it. But because for me, now on the thing that you're saying about the script and stuff, I can say, as an actor myself, I can say that actors don't have as much control over their acting as you think. Now they will
Right,
they will go like, okay, yeah, you do this to your best ability, but the thing is, if you don't know what your actor can and cannot do, then you've made a mistake in casting that actor. I don't give a fuck how good that actor is if they don't fit the bill. Like, I don't know, let's say Ryan Reynolds, he's a phenomenal actor. You don't cast him as Penguin.
No.
You know what I mean?
And the main thing is the actor has to fit the character.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Reynolds playing, as someone like Deadpool when he did was amazing.
Yeah.
But putting him as someone like Penguin, like you mentioned, would be a complete 180 because or a 360 or whatever, because it'd be horrible. There's no humorous side to Penguin. Penguin is supposed to be like this feared, like almost like a creature that people are like terrified of, and I think putting someone like Ryan Reynolds in that position would not fit. I don't think they would. Someone like Han Solo per se, he would be awesome as Han Solo, or Calrissian or something like that. You know what I mean? But just having a non-humorous role would not work.
No, yeah. But have you seen Gotham?
So I started it. I got almost through the first season, but I lost interest in it
because the Penguin there, he's amazing. But I'm not going to go too much into that see, I think that Affleck definitely did a great job. I think in the Snyder Cut, and I think he definitely is a good. I think he could definitely be a good actor. Good Batman. When he first got casted, I was excited because I definitely think that he can fit the bill. The issue has been the writing. Like, he doesn't have that much control. A lot of people's favorite moment that he has is in Batman v Superman, when he's in his fucking Batmobile and it says, "Oh shit," or whatever the fuck he says, right?
Yeah.
He improvised that. That was improvised. It's like with Heath Ledger. Some of people's favorite moments are improvised, and you know why?
Like when he blew up the hospital.
Yeah, it's like
that part, and the part with the pencil trick was also improvised as well.
So there's I think he would definitely have been a lot better with better writing. But then going back to what I think that his role is going to be in the DCEU right now. Obviously, we'll still have the Justice League movies, and we've established what the next is probably going to be, and Darkseid. He's going to be their new Thanos. But I think that considering the role that now he hasn't played much of a role, he's been in Batman v Superman, he's been in Justice League. But I think that from now on, with Flash coming out whenever it is, Aquaman 2. Now, Wonder Woman has had her second now, but I think that I don't think they're going to make a movie specifically for him called Batman. I think that his new role is he's going to be the leader in the Justice League movies, and then he's going to have cameos in all the others. So let's say in the Flash movie. Now, I don't know what if this is set before or after he gets summoned by the Justice League. But if it is after, you're gonna have Bruce Wayne coming in as a cameo, and he's not gonna have a massive role. He's probably going to be along the lines of Tony Stark in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So I can actually tell you for a fact that Ben Affleck's Batman has already officially confirmed to be in the Flash movie, alongside with Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman as well.
Oh yeah, speaking of that,
okay, I fucking love that.
Deadpool. How do you feel about Michael Keaton returning to the role?
It'd be awesome if done correctly.
I hope it's done correctly.
I love the Michael Keaton Batman, but like I said, if done correctly, and it has been some time now since he has been Batman, so we'll see. I think it'd be awesome. It's an awesome idea. And it goes back to what I said before. If executed correctly, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think there's also potential in this Flash movie that there could be 3 Batmans, because based on the preview, it looks like they're going with the Flashpoint paradox. So you could get Flashpoint Batman of Thomas Wayne, who's that cast? It was Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would fucking love that.
I wouldn't. I think that was a terrible choice for Batman's parents.
No,
like,
but
yeah, let me punch
really?
the guy.
The reason, okay, so the reason that I think I love it, okay, so now I love The Walking Dead. I watched almost all of it, and I love Negan, and I think that he could easily, now he's one of the, when it comes to making villains likable, he's up there for me, because I love the character of Negan. I think that I think that the grittiness and stuff like that Thomas Wayne has as Batman, I think he could do an amazing job. He would have to, get a bit buffer. He's a strong guy, but he'll have to get a bit bigger because Thomas Wayne's fucking Batman is huge. So he'd have to get a bit bigger. But other than that, he's got the beard and shit. He's got all that, and he's got the grittiness. I think he could do a great job as Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
No, I think should get a better spotlight as a live action Batman.
Who?
Don't you say
the guy who voiced him, Kevin Conroy.
Well, he was in the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was there for like 5 seconds and fell on a power coupling and died. It was about as bad as a cameo as you get for a legendary voice actor of Batman.
No.
And I think he should get his own little show up as the Batman. That would be so cool to see Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as live action Batman and Joker.
I would love that, but the issue is I think he's too skinny.
You can paint abs on people.
Bro, paint abs on him? So you want a fake 65-year-old. I think he's like 65 or something.
All you gotta do is make him like they did
60...
in the CW's Crisis. Is just put that mechanical suit on him, make it look like this old withered Batman, and then like have his own little like. Well, they did a good job with what he looked like.
I'm not gonna deny that.
I think the best way to use
his appearance in Crisis was dumb.
But I think the best way if they wanted to live action him in a movie would be like Batman Beyond, where he plays the old Batman.
Yes,
like
exactly.
The new one.
That's what I would love to see.
That would be. Pattinson is skinny, yes, Mac, but it's different because Thomas Wayne's Batman is built like a fucking truck, whilst Batman, whilst Batman, he varies. Sometimes he's a bit skinnier. Sometimes he's a bit bigger. With Batman it varies, whilst with Thomas Wayne, it's very often he's very big. And also, I think that in the costume, Pattinson looks good.
Yeah, the issue I had with Batman though, like what you just say, I really hate that they choose. I mean, we've had 5 different Batmans at this point, and all of them have been different sizes, different body styles, different.
Pretty much.
They all had a different look to them, and I hated it. Like it. Even in all the comic books, like you have old school Batman all the way up to today, like he looks similar in every single one of them.
I think it's because they all want to make someone memorable. But for example, when you see the Dark Knight armor, that's Dark Knight armor. When you see the Batman v Superman suit, that's the Batman v Superman suit. When you see the bat nipples, it's the bat nipples. You know what I'm saying? The suits are iconic and they're different. And I think the reason that they're doing this is to separate the characters, because they're not different. They're not the same character. If you saw, think about this. Think in the Dark Knight. If you saw your boy running around
looks like Adam West.
Looking like Adam West. Exactly what I was gonna say. If you see him looking like Adam West, talking with like, where is he? You wouldn't have been able to take that seriously. You would look at that as a comedy. You'd laugh your fucking face off. You'd laugh at the cinema.
Well, I think overall, just recapping, I think Robert Pattinson really needs to bring his A game for this position. Yeah. I think the cast has a few great, additions to it. Overall, like I said, I'm skeptical, but keeping my hopes up for it because Batman is my favorite, and I do not want to see him get ruined because they put someone like Robert Pattinson in that role. But that being said, there is some room for error. Yeah. Not everybody's perfect. Not every role is correctly. But yeah. So moving on, we'll go ahead and we'll hit Guy or Flair's.
Well, we could take Guy's
hero
first.
Next.
So Guy, because you had Green Arrow.
Yeah, someone not in the Bat family.
Now,
yes, I had.
Yeah,
I had Green Arrow, and I want to bring up like who would we like to see play the Green Arrow?
Yeah,
in the DCEU,
because the show's finished now, I believe.
Yeah, Stephen Amell.
So Stephen Amell is off. He's probably gonna have a few cameos, probably in the Flash or whatever the fuck.
He said that like he would love to come back as a villain, or he would love to come back as like alternate universe in this DCEU.
But
he doesn't want to return to the show.
No,
because it puts so much stress on him.
But it's now, very possible. But now, do we? Well, first,
one quick thing.
Do we think that he's actually going to be part of this Justice League, though? Just to throw that quickly out there before we.
Stephen Amell, but I think you need to bring the Green Arrow in because Flash and Green Arrow have a good relationship, and Batman and Green Arrow have a relationship that would love to see conflict each other. Mm-hmm. And I think one actor I've seen pop up a lot is Charlie Hunnam from
that's what I was going to say.
Every time I'm looking it up, that seems who everybody wants to play him. Me, I haven't watched Sons of Anarchy. I wasn't really interested in the show, but I looked up a couple of his clips.
I know you.
And he looks really well. And I've seen some fan art of him in the Green Arrow suit. I'll look it up real quick.
He could definitely do a good job, I think.
While you look that up, one quick thing. I am standing next to me is my wife, Kylie. For all the viewers, she has something she wants to say because Green Arrow is also one of her top favorite heroes.
Oh.
So I'll go ahead and let her speak in on that subject real fast.
So if we're talking about the show, Green Arrow semi-matched with the comics. But there was like some things like how his daughter, towards the end of the season, his daughter comes in and there was like everyone from the future, the kids came to the past. Like that was bullshit. But Green Arrow being a hero, like I feel like at first he was like the anti-villain, like or anti-hero. Like he was doing bad, but then he ended up coming to do good. Like he was following the book from his dad and everything. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I feel like he's, in my eyes, Batman is one of my favorite heroes. But the Arrow is one of my one that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
I was having a little heart attack when that name came up behind him.
No worries. I mean it's pretty good. But yeah, okay. Let's see. I just found the fucking photos. All right, Guy, where were you at? What were you saying?
What was I saying? Crap.
I think
he was looking for the photos as well.
Yeah, I found the photo I need, so I will send it over.
Because I found two very good photos as well let's see if I can find them back in. But yeah, okay, so but we're all pretty much on that he's probably going to be part of this DCEU.
You see,
I don't know.
I wish he is. I really hope so.
I'm not on board with that opinion.
All right.
Well, how can you have but okay. I get not having every single Justice League member because there's hundreds.
Yeah.
But having the main handful, like if you got Flash, you need Green Arrow. If you got Green Lantern, you need Green Arrow because they all connect.
Yeah.
Green Lantern and Flash and Black Canary and all these other little side characters are all connected to Green Arrow. If you want to connect Green Lantern to Flash or Flash to Arrow and all this stuff, you need to have them all together because in the comic books they're good friends. They talk about in the Injustice comic books how they miss hanging out with Green Lantern all the time after they would do stuff for Justice League.
Yeah. All right. So
it's real good to see.
I've got some photos.
I think he might have a cameo, but I'm not sure about having him just because the name isn't as big. You know, like they have the show. I get that. So people know the name, but the name is nowhere near as big as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash. You know what I mean?
But they're introducing Martian Manhunter though, and I would say Green Arrow is definitely bigger than Martian Manhunter, unless you're a
especially since he's a side character. Especially that, because and if you're talking about like not a good enough name, look at Peacemaker. Not anybody knew who he was until all these Suicide Squad characters. No one knew who they were until they were in the movie.
I did.
I'm gonna walk down the road and go ask my neighbors. Hey, do you guys know who Captain Boomerang is? I'm like, oh, from Suicide Squad, the movie? No, like in the comics. No, I didn't know he was even in them.
But yeah. Okay. So, but you
who knows who these people are?
Guy, you can check out on the stream because I found 2 photos. The first one's up now of your boy.
Yeah, I'm looking.
And I mean, they're both looking pretty spicy. I mean, like
that looks nice.
That it looks very good, and I think he could definitely do a job as look. Even Mac is agreeing. He says Defo Charlie or maybe Taron Egerton, or Travis Fimmel. I'm not sure who that is. I'm gonna Google it. But
Travis.
Okay. Oh yeah. No, yeah. I can see that.
The guy who was in Vikings.
Yeah, but
Taron
Egerton is definitely someone that I could see. Now I don't think that I see how Travis could look the part, but I'm not sure if he could be the part. Taron Egerton, in my opinion, is a very underrated actor, and he could definitely portray a younger Green Arrow. But I think in this universe, and just because of how much he looks the part, I think that Charlie is definitely just the way to go if they're going to do something. Now, I would love to see, just for nostalgia, and because I'm a massive DC fan, I would love to see Green Arrow in the universe. I would love to see him in the cinematic universe. The issue is, they, again, and I'm calling back to this, they didn't do like Marvel.
They didn't set up anybody.
That's one thing, but also in the first Avengers, Hawkeye wasn't just useless, because the threat were these I don't fucking remember, the Chimera or whatever the fuck, the guys,
the Chitauri,
that's it. He could kill those. He had a chance. And obviously in the comics, Green Arrow he's gone up against Darkseid and stuff like that before. But I feel like if they had have made a first sort of Justice League movie with a lower level threat. Now, you know what? Actually, with Steppenwolf, he could probably have done something. But I feel like now it's when they're setting up Darkseid being this next big bad, I feel like they'll have to.
Yeah,
I feel like they'll have to
more power hitters.
They'll have to get a extreme powerhouse of Green Arrow. He's got to be in his prime, at his best. He's got to have an established relationship with Batman already, which they'll have to do some sort of weird way make so that they know each other. I just don't see it happening, and I hate to say it, but
the DCEU is so rushed. Is why it's not doing so hot, because they were just like, oh, Marvel had the Avengers, let's throw Justice League out, but we only have like 4 movies under our belt.
Wait,
there you go.
I found one thing hilarious. We've been talking about all this, but we haven't, like, we've talked about Wonder Woman and all this. We haven't even touched on the fact that Shazam is in this now. Shazam is in
there's no mention of him.
But
there's no mention.
But see, this is the thing.
Where are you?
If DC keep going the way that they're going now, because the first Wonder Woman movie, good. That was really good. Aquaman, great. Shazam, fucking loved it.
Oh, I love Shazam.
Shazam is the greatest Power Rangers movie ever. All right. Now, my thought is, because now the Snyder Cut, also great. Now, I have not seen the newest Wonder Woman movie yet. I will just throw that out there. I've not seen that one yet. But I hope that that's good. Because if it is, shows that DC are going in a very good direction upwards. They've then had 5 movies off the bat who are all great. And then if this Batman movie does well, then guess what? They've got 6. And that's very positive for them, because now Man of Steel, it gets mixed reviews, but I think the majority of people probably liked it.
I liked it.
Exactly. Then
I
you got
even
shit
like the
Batman.
part where he kills Zod, even though that's
Yeah.
not a popular opinion. I like
No,
that part.
But that's also probably one of the reasons that it gets mixed reviews. And then they have the flop of Batman v Superman. The original Justice League gets fucked because a motherfucker stepped in for poor Zack Snyder, which I feel horrible for him because of what he had to go through. And shit just started to flop. But then Wonder Woman and Aquaman come out. You got Shazam. Then finally we get the Snyder Cut. And now we got a Batman movie that seems, in my opinion, seems to be a good product. I'm going to go into it completely open-minded, not expecting too much, not too little. I'm just going to go into it going, okay, it's a Batman movie. That's what I'm going to go in with, and I'm going to come out with some sort of start opinion, and then I'm probably going to watch it again and find a different opinion. But I hope that's good. Because they've also had Suicide Squad, which the first one, I personally enjoy.
I like the first Suicide Squad more than I like the second one.
Because I like certain roles in it. So that's just my opinion on it. I like the first movie. I can enjoy it. I haven't seen the second one yet either. But I've heard great things about it. And
Another thing is,
but I think that
they
they're gonna be on a
don't make
roll.
their characters very. They don't make their characters very tangible in Suicide Squad, because Suicide Squad was their option to like show these big characters, these little characters, and try and make them big characters. I said that completely ass backwards.
Yeah.
Like with Peacemaker, I don't remember the dude's name that I just overplayed.
Yeah.
I knew who Killer Croc was, but I don't think anybody knew who he was. So when I saw that he was this big dumb idiot, I was like, "What?"
I mean, I would
Excuse
say that
me?
there's probably, I would say that most, if you're a Batman fan, I would probably say you know who he is. And I think that Suicide Squad is definitely a way to implement a few more Batman fans into this stuff before shit happens.
King Shark was a Flash villain, I think.
Yeah, but he comes in the second one. I'm talking about the first one. The first one was definitely seemed to me like
The first one was it was Batman audience targeted and
Batman
Flash audience targeted, because that's who was going to be in Justice League.
Yeah.
Killer, because all these villains had something to do with Batman.
Yeah.
And one of them had to do with Flash.
And now then for the second one, which I fucking love, that now they go for Justice League villain as the villain of the movie. I found that hilarious that they're taking one of the biggest memes within fucking...
Yeah, the biggest memes. And just made him this big bad.
The biggest meme... Now, I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen the trailer, but I fucking knew exactly what was happening. You take the biggest meme within Justice League history, other than Aquaman, and you make it a big fucking bad against fucking all these other villains as Suicide Squad. I found that amazing. So I'm going to go into this enjoying it. But we need to get back on track. So Green Arrow.
Green Arrow's introduction probably isn't going to be for a while. I think they'll have to, once Darkseid is quote-unquote taken care of, I think that's when they'll start building the Justice League and move on to like the Justice League of Doom or Legion of Doom, whatever the alternate Justice League that Lex Luthor leads.
Yeah.
If they do something like that, I definitely think then they'll have to bring in. But I think we see Steppenwolf now. They're going to do something like... I think what they're going to do what the Avengers did. They're going to introduce Steppenwolf kind of as their Loki, and then he dies, and then coming up next, it's just going to be a couple of different big bads, and then we're going to get on the dark side. That's probably what they're going to end up doing. Or they could just jump straight in the dark side. But I think if they're going to introduce any characters, any newer characters, we need a smaller threat this next Justice League movie. Yeah. And I think that'll be perfect to introduce smaller characters like Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter.
But I think for the
see
next
some
movie,
other characters come in like Shazam.
For the next movie, I think that fucking Lex Luthor should finally be able to get himself the role that he deserves. Because I think,
a different actor.
No, you know what? Actually, this might be unpopular. Now, obviously, in fucking Batman v Superman, you can say whatever the fuck you want about that.
God, he's awful.
But I think...
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. I want to say that. I want to put that out straight away. He's a good actor. And I think he could do a good Lex. Now, obviously the issue is he's too young. He looks too young. He doesn't have that, threatening, in his 40s, maybe 50s, bald guy face. Which I think, even no matter how dumb that sounds, I think everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about. He doesn't have that. But I think he might not look the part. He will have to put on a bit of muscle to actually look the part and probably get a different head. But I think written correctly as the next big villain, being tactically outsmarting the Justice League, which I know he can probably do, I think we will just not even give a fuck about how he looks. Because, for example, with Gotham, which is obviously a TV show, but like the Penguin there, he's not short and stubby with a massive nose like the Penguin in the comics and other stuff.
Right.
But he is a great Penguin. He doesn't necessarily... You see, on the way he looks, even though he doesn't have the shape of Penguin, you see on the character, that is Penguin. And I think that you can do exactly the same thing with his Lex. You get him, you give him the right script, give him the right direction, give him the right look. I think you could easily make him a good Lex Luthor. That's just my thought.
That should be our next Justice League encounter, is definitely Lex and the Legion of Doom, or the Injustice League, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Just introduce, I'm just going to throw this out there as a cast of villains. We'll have, let's say Cheetah comes back from the Wonder Woman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Lex as the main, with the leader of them. Then Deathstroke, I'm going to say Merlin for Green Arrow, just to have him be tied in. But before we do this Justice League movie, let's throw a Green Arrow movie in there. Let's throw and have Black Adam obviously show up at some point and have a reason for Shazam to be there. Instead of making these characters just be there, oh look, here's this character you like Martian Manhunter in the Snyder Cut. Look, it's Martian Manhunter. No, we need a reason for him to be there. I don't need him to just be there to be, oh man, fan service. I need him there to fight people. But I don't want to see Shazam go up and go, hey, what's up? Get hit by a tank shell, then go punch Lex Luthor in the face and end it in 5 seconds. I need Black Adam as an equal powerhouse to take on Shazam. I need Lex Luthor to take on Superman in his suit. I need Deathstroke take on Batman, Merlin take on Arrow, Reverse Flash to take on Flash, or somebody that take on Flash.
Yeah.
Just something. I need a reason for everybody to be there. Because in Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman wasn't needed. She was only needed because Doomsday was there.
Yeah, I mean that
she was true. Just there if she would have only shown up in the museum,
and also
I would have been fine with that.
And also to look hot while talking to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and look to be hot.
But I think
one quick thing to add is, this is purely just something that I fantasize about and would be absolutely awesome if it came true. Just as not even related to any active, movies or trilogies or whatever are in place at this time. If we had a Marvel versus DC movie, and have the Justice League fight the Avengers,
I could easily, and this might be he might be wait, hold up, what the fuck? I think we could easily see that within the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, we need those because I not
think
be stubborn.
Because I think if DC keeps going the way that they're going, I think that when they get up on the platform that Marvel is on right now, which I don't think Marvel. Now, Endgame and Infinity War were amazing movies, but Marvel's trajectory hasn't been going up. It's been very steady pace, which is not a bad thing. It's definitely good. And then you have the bumps with Infinity War and Endgame. But I think that, considering that they're going steady and DC seemingly now is going up, I think that if DC keep going up, keep putting out quality movies, I think we could see that when they're both on the same part. And Warner Bros. And Disney go, well for one, they're both probably going to do it for the fucking money anyways. But they're both going to go,
Or Disney buys Warner Brothers.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're both
buy their DC rights.
They're gonna go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Now it's the time to do it. And I think 5 to 10 years, I think they can do that.
I think the new Marvel movies, like if they come out with new Avengers, won't do so well. So I think Marvel's on a straight decline moving forward, in my opinion.
It depends on what they do with the Avengers movies, because there's still characters that can
I
still
disagree.
drive that forward. There's still characters that can drive that forward. And I think that still having Spider-Man, you got Falcon, you got Winter Soldier, I think that the general platform right now is looking good. So I think that they can keep going with the Avengers the way that they're going right now. In the future, they might have issues, but it completely depends on how they play their cards. Play your cards right, introduce the right characters in the right ways. Have that fucking kid from Iron Man 3 or whatever who was at the funeral, have him become Ironheart. Please. Have him become Ironheart. And then you got your new Ironheart.
With our special guest here, so with, Marvel being at a steady pace and DC obviously on the rise, how would you feel with a Marvel versus DC movie? However, it probably won't happen anytime soon, but in a perfect world, let's assume right now that it's coming out next year. Is that something that you would be excited about? And if so, what would you expect from something like that?
Ooh, that's a loaded question out there. So right off the rip, I'm telling you right now, I don't think that a Marvel DC movie is ever going to happen. And that's just being blatantly honest. Just because the way the studios work and who has rights to what and who's doing better than who, I don't foresee Kevin Feige ever being like, "Hey, Warner Brothers, let's add some of your shitty characters to our great characters." He's not going to jeopardize ruining what he's already started with the MCU by trying to clash these two, comic superpowers together.
I think maybe an animated movie would be best.
Yeah, because they did it in the comics. They made a comic book. I don't know how long it was. They did do the DC Marvel crossover.
They've done a few comics.
But as far as a live action, I don't foresee that. Maybe like an animated one, kind of like the DC films. That's a possibility. But I don't foresee a live action one ever happening.
I think I agree with it. It's probably never going to happen, but I think it could if DC, because again, as you said, not adding your shitty characters into with our great characters. That was kind of what I meant with that. If DC keep going forward, they go up, they get a steady pace going, as they have right now. At some because I definitely think that I think we can all agree it would make a shit ton of money. It would be huge. Oh, yeah. It would be massive.
Yeah, that'd be trillions.
So the money ain't no worry, because they're gonna make a shit ton of money on it. I think that the reason that I said 5 to 10 years is because I think we can all agree that we would, in a perfect world, as you said, it would be amazing to have a fucking crossover movie. But the reason I say 5 to 10 years is the way that Marvel are going, because they have probably their movies planned out, it seems like, a few of them at least. And with DC going at a steady pace upwards, let's say in 5 years, I think that the Marvel plan that is out now, that people know what's coming out when, I think is up to 2024, I think. With DC, you know some characters that you're getting movies. You got Flash. There's probably going to be an Aquaman 3 at some point. Number 2 is coming out, I believe. You got Black Adam. There's a Shazam 2 on the way somewhere. You got some stuff that is planned. And I think that if this shit goes well, Justice League, let's say in 7 years, we'll probably have 2, maybe 3 more Justice League movies. Now that will not be on par with what Marvel has, but it will be on par with what they have now. At that time, Marvel will probably have fucking 3 or 4 or fucking 5 more Avengers movies. Jesus Christ, you never know. But that's within the time span of 5 to 10 years, and then DC will establish a massive universe at that point. Because I think that DC has a lot more that they can work around with the multiverse thing. they have a lot more they can work around with, because they already have 3 different universes when it comes to television shows. Then you got the Pattinson verse established, and you have the normal DCEU. So they've got
you have the Joker movie.
Yeah, and the Joker movie. They have a lot easier way to work around the multiverse thing. Marvel have to establish shit now. They're going back to old movies. Well, here's
a problem with, like, DC's been under Warner Brothers for forever. Marvel's had so many different companies take their characters and run with them. That too. Marvel's had to buy rights and take stuff and do this, but Warner Brothers has had DC all the time, so they're saying, oh yeah, everything you see here is in the Infinite Earths kind of style.
Yeah.
But let's get back to topic just really fast. We do need to move on.
Yeah.
Green Arrow coming to DCU. If they jump straight to Dark Side, I think it's pointless to add him in. But if they do like a smaller, lesser villain, kind of like jumping from Loki to Ultron, like Marvel did, lesser villain is to say, but for the MCU, he's a lesser villain.
Yeah.
But like, say, let's go from Steppenwolf to a smaller threat like the Injustice League or Legion of Doom, whatever they're called, or maybe even just a Mazo. I think if you bring in Green Arrow, then it would be that would be the definitely be something to bring him in.
Yeah.
And that would also, I think Amazo would be a better reason to bring Shazam in. That way, you know, he copied Superman. He was the one person who can beat Superman, Shazam, because his lightning is magic.
Yeah.
And so that would be, but definitely Amazo or the Injustice League. That would who we would need next, kind of like an Ultron kind of way.
Yeah.
So who's next in line for heroes?
I would say Scotty, because I'm interested in hearing what you think about yours.
Real quick before that, I know we're trying to move on, but I had a question I was going to ask when we were talking about casting for Green Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
How would y'all feel? And you know, this is the other side of my nerd brain talking here. For a Green Arrow casting, we look towards Ewan McGregor.
My man with the stack.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him looking the part, but there's just something, because he's got the beard, he's got the hair, and that looks all good, but there's something with, I don't know, it might just, this might sound, but like, there's just something about him that I just don't feel like would fit. There's just something about him. I don't know, and I would probably only be saying through I don't do this with anything else, but for some reason, probably as Green Arrow, because he's got a similar look, I would just go the entire movie going, what the fuck is Obi-Wan doing in a DC movie?
Well, he already has been. He played Black Mask in the Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
that is true.
I think he would definitely make a good.
In which case
he'd make the funnier Oliver Queen.
That is true.
But in more comic relief.
But in Birds of Prey, he doesn't have the beard, does he?
I don't believe he does now.
See that's the thing. With Green Arrow, he's got the beard and the same hair. So I would just be going like, what does Obi-Wan do here?
What's Obi-Wan doing here?
What the hell is
Why
Obi-Wan
is he wearing?
Like,
where's Stephen Amell?
Fucking hell, I haven't even seen Birds of Prey yet. Jesus Christ, I need to catch up on this shit. But all right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah, Scotty, your character.
Oh my, the Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Because
we already know that Jason Todd already exists in the DCEU. Is that what they call it? DCEU.
DC Detective Comics DCEU, Extended Universe.
Yeah,
whatever their long acronym is. we already know Jason Todd already exists. They already showed him in not him, but in Batman v Superman, you see the Robin suit in the Batcave. And there's even references to it. Was at the very end of the Snyder Cut, where he's talking to the Joker, talk about you never sent a boy wonder to do a man's job.
Yeah,
and that's 100% reference to Jason Todd. So we know he already exists in the DC universe. As far as when he's going to show up, I don't know. Maybe if they do a standalone Batman film, which I don't foresee that happening anytime soon. No. I think that would be a good, moderate villain role to play for him.
Yeah, but I also think that if they're going to do a standalone movie now and they're going to introduce Robin, considering he's had 20 years in Gotham, the only one it could be would be Damian Wayne. Because after 20 years, Nightwing, like Dick Grayson is definitely Nightwing. After 20 years, he would have been like, I don't know, he would be in his 30s maybe. If he's got 20 years as Batman in Gotham, he would be 30 maybe. Jason would be late 20s. Tim would be mid 20s, maybe early to mid 20s. Damian Wayne would be the only one that would actually be viable as a Robin, I feel like, in this situation. And I think we can actually now merge our two, because you've got Jason Todd or Red Hood and I've got Nightwing. I think we can merge both of those. I love both characters, and as much as I would love to see both of them in the DCEU, the only way that it could happen is if you introduce it's got to be a rugged ass Red Hood who's probably got some sort of gang with him, or has got some sort of tie-in with someone, and then a Nightwing who is... It wouldn't make sense at this point for Nightwing to just have been in Bloodhaven for 10, 15 years. It just wouldn't have made sense if he just stays in Bloodhaven for that long. He would have been part of a sort of Justice League team, like a Young Justice or something, or Titans. He would have been leader of that, which we already have the TV show, which is also in a different universe. But that I do like this TV show. But anyways.
So I have something to throw out there for how you would incorporate him. So for a standalone Batman movie, I was thinking, that doesn't seem like it would work. But if we have a standalone Batman movie with Ben Affleck, I think what would happen is we'd see the League of Shadows or League of Assassins, whatever you want to call them. We'd see them surface in the DCEU.
Yes.
And they were like, and Roz is like, well, how are we going to combat Batman? And they're like, why don't we use his dead successor? And they use Elijah's fit, bring back Jason Todd to fight him and Nightwing. And then he goes and gets Nightwing from Bloodhaven. Mm-hmm. And we can see whoever plays Nightwing. But
then
plays.
Would he also... Because the issue that I have now, which is the reason I don't think that we're going to have any Robins in this universe, is... Okay, consider it like this. Dick Grayson would probably have been some sort of incorporated Justice League member. Whether it be for the youth squad, he would be the leader for that, or whatever the fuck. He would have some sort of part, which he doesn't. Jason Todd, okay, yes, he could still be on the run or whatever. No worries with that. Tim Drake, though?
You don't need all the Robins.
No, I'm not.
You can literally just add.
I'm not saying that you need all of them, but I find an issue in incorporating any because of the way that they all have to fit together. Now, Dick Grayson has to be, in my eyes, he has to be the first one introduced, no matter what, in my eyes. Unless they do a standalone one where they go Damian Wayne and they make that story, but Batman never just takes in Damian Wayne. They always follow in each other's footsteps. So you have if you don't have Dick Grayson, you can't have Jason Todd. If you don't have Jason Todd, you can't have Tim Drake. If you don't have Tim Drake, you can't have Damian Wayne, because every single Robin is a whatchamacallit. It's a product of the one before. Just Batman has learned. He's learned from his
mistake.
But then,
here's what I'm saying
is
that part is that that's why the mistake is made. He didn't want a Robin after Jason Todd. And so we don't see Tim Drake or Damian after that. We just see these two. You have Nightwing, you have one who becomes Nightwing, and then you have the one who becomes Red Hood. So you just have those two in 20 years he's been Batman. So what you'll have for that is Nightwing will already be like an established side character for the movie. He would just be, yes, he exists. There was that Robin, and they both had their feud, and he left and became Nightwing, and then he took Jason Todd under his wing, and then Jason Todd gets killed by the Joker, and then the League of Assassins like, hey, Batman's kicking our ass, and Roz isn't doing anything about it. We see Nyssa or Talia, whichever one, I don't really care, surface, and they bring back Jason Todd and like brainwash him, or just let him like, hey, go fight him, go get him. And like, okay. And that's how I do. Yeah, it's your main. You got a main villain. You got a plot.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I do have one. The thing though is that movie would have to be put before Batman v Superman. And here's why.
No, it wouldn't.
It would. And the reason for that is, you know, when he's looking at the suit of Jason Todd, there's one very specific quote that he says. And that is, 20 years in Gotham, Alfred, how many heroes or whatever, how many stayed that way? Which is him essentially implying Jason Todd is Red Hood. He didn't stay a hero. Who else could he be talking about? There's no one else that he could be talking about when he is by the suit saying 20 years in Gotham, how many heroes or whatever the fuck he says, and then he says how many stayed that way.
Well, Jason Todd went off to go kill the Joker, so he's turned from his hero thing. He wanted to kill the Joker anyways.
Yeah,
so he turned from Batman and went out.
But that was. I don't think that's what he would have implied with stayed that way, because that would have been like, oh yeah, he went for one vengeful thing, because even Batman has done that. I think that when he says how many stayed that way, he implies that Jason, he ain't around no more. He's Red Hood.
He's also implying himself because he doesn't think he's a hero.
That too.
Because if Batman has never seen himself as a hero, Batman thinks he isn't worthy of the title. Well, because of all the shit he's done, himself as a person.
But I don't think he's talking about himself when he's saying 20 years in Gotham, how many stayed that way. I think because he wouldn't have talked about himself like that. He would have said like, even I went down or whatever the fuck I feel like. But Scotty, were you gonna say something?
No, I was saying there's actually a very interesting theory I've seen on YouTube before about Jason Todd and how there's the possibility of him being Jared Leto's Joker.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I don't know if you guys have watched that, but it's actually pretty. It's kind of convincing. Like, not gonna lie, like some of the evidence they provided, like it could honestly fit the role of Jason Todd as actually that version of the Joker.
I don't like that version of the Joker, so I can't see it because I think I don't know. Jared Leto's Joker felt too punk rock, not like real punk. Real.
I've heard that he's
weird.
A lot better in the director's cut though.
So I read it was each Joker we've had throughout the years is supposed to represent a different side of the Joker as a whole. So we had, the clown was the very first one, and then we had the psycho, which was the next one, and then now it's the gangster is the new Joker, and then the newest one that just came out, the Joker. I don't even recognize that one because it was a terrible movie.
He's cynical in the Joker movie.
The Joker movie bothered me is because they made it, he has a laughing illness is why he laughs the whole time. No, he laughs the whole time because he's fucking nuts. Not because he has something wrong with his brain.
But I actually liked it because first it's like something that he's embarrassed about, but then he just takes it all in. He's like, I'm the fucking Joker. I don't give a fuck. I laugh. Like I like the way that they twisted it. I like the way that they twisted it.
I have a huge problem with that because he's mentally ill, and they just decided, we're just gonna take that and make him just snap. But that's not how that works, guys. Come on, we should know better than this. I get the movie was okay, but just the reason behind him turning after all the shit he went through, just that sudden snap, it feels like he should have been doing that the whole movie.
No, I love the movie, and I love the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I think that if you watch the entire movie, it's not just a sudden snap. It's gradually shit just goes wrong. And then he embraces the fact that he embraces what he is, and really the entire movie is just him building up to become the Joker. It's kind of, and this is to make it a relevant, comparison. It's like Batman Begins. Some people have the dumbest shit saying that, I don't like Batman Begins because it's only Batman for like the final third of the movie. It's called Batman Begins.
It's called Batman Begins, you idiots.
so it's like, well, okay, well, that's a dumb argument, but I feel like it's the same thing. He starts at Bruce Wayne, and then here he starts at wherever the fuck his name is. And then gradually you see stuff happen. He becomes Batman.
And then he's Batman.
And then
I see what you're talking about with the Joker thing. And another thing that I loved about the Joker movie
happens. Yeah.
The Joker movie, how it's at the very end, how he laughs and says, "Oh, you wouldn't get the joke." And I'm like, that just makes me think that whole thing was bullshit, which is very faithful to the Joker character.
Yeah.
Because he just says in the comic books, yeah, my origin story is just multiple choice. Just take your pick. And it's like, all right, fuck you. Like,
yeah.
You don't give us a clear answer.
So yeah,
I think if we we need a more solid Joker, or like a cemented Joker instead of we have two Jokers. Who are we gonna pick to be in this area? Because I feel like Jared Leto's Joker could do so much more, while Joaquin Phoenix's Joker would be too old by the time the DCEU takes place.
The Joaquin Phoenix Joker, I think, obviously is a different universe again, which I think they can do whatever they want with. I think that Joker is definitely a good just movie alone. It's a great movie about a man with a mental illness that all of a sudden embraces that. Now with the Jared Leto Joker, I can
see Jared. I can't see Jared Leto's Joker beating Tim Drake's head. I can't see it at all. But I can see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker beating his head. It's just something about like you can see Jack Nicholson's Joker doing that. You can't see Cesar Romero's doing it because he's in a kitchen.
Well, that's a completely different thing. I feel like
that's really different.
With
you can see Heath Ledger beating him because it's Heath Ledger, but when you get to Jared Leto, he feels too tame. He doesn't feel like a Joker.
The thing is, I have seen the director's cut of Suicide Squad, and there you see more of the cutout scenes that he had, because he had a lot more time on screen than when he does in the actual movie. He's a lot better there, and I can definitely see, if you just look a bit deeper into the fucking maniac side of this Joker, I could easily see him, not in the same way, but in a different way, I could see him crowbarring Jason Todd to death. Not in the exact same way where you just see him fucking beating him and fucking laughing, but I can see him doing it in a more expressive way. Yeah,
like maybe
like he just says something and just he stands and holds it, and then with his back to Jason, he just says something, and all of a sudden just whips around and knocks him in the face. And then
kind of like a Negan to Glenn
kind of like a Negan to Glenn, exactly. I could see him beating him to death in a different way, more theatrical, because that's what this Joker gives me when it comes to what I think of him.
I look at that Joker.
Doing that.
I hate the makeup, by the way. He looks awful.
I don't really have any opinion on it.
Well, they took like his mouth. It just looks like a kindergartner just took lipstick and went.
I mean, I could see that.
His laugh is pretty good. I like his laugh, and but his overall like gangster punk rock position he takes just doesn't.
I get it.
Sit with me.
Which, by the way, one thing I realized we could probably make an entire podcast talking about the Joker, which at some point in the future we're probably gonna do. But I think
probably gonna have to do it.
Yeah, but I think we should get back on topic. Now we have little time left, but okay. So, Scotty,
if we look at the table real quick, I sent 2 pictures of Red Hood, and for a potential movie that comes out about Red Hood, or the rise of Red Hood, the fall of Red Hood, whatever you want the movie to be, which one of these 2 concepts are we wanting to see more? Blair, if you want to show this to the stream,
I think the lower one I don't think is a concept. I think that's actually I was gonna look in the Titans TV show.
Yep, that is what he looks like in Titans. And then the top one is actually a fan-made YouTube movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where, it's just the typical all black with the red mask, whereas the bottom one in Titans is more of the actual traditional Red Hood.
Yeah.
What would we want to see in a movie made by Warner Brothers.
By the way, Mac actually put out a shout by the guy Jensen who plays Red Hood in I believe it is in the Red Hood, the animated movie. The guy that voices him there, that he could probably do a job as if I catch that right, Mac, that he could do. There's at least that's the fan made photo. That he could do a job probably as the Red Hood, if I've caught you right there, Mac. And this is how he looks in Titans, with the brown leather jacket, tactical pants, the red mask, and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, yes, as him in a main film, yeah. So Red Hood played by Jensen Ackles, like when he did the voice for him in the animated film Under the Red Hood, which is an amazing movie, by the way. But
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see that, and I love his voice in that as well. I think it really fits the character of Jason. So that's a very good shout, Mac. Now, Scotty, what I did just show the photos, but what do we? Now, I think that they should go. Now, I love the way that he looks in Titans. But I would also love to see something, not something like with the Arkham games, the way that he looks there. Now, first thing people are gonna say, oh, what do you mean, like the Arkham Knight? I don't mean the Arkham Knight. I mean how he actually looks as Red Hood, which I'll see if I can find a photo. But in the meantime, Scotty, what are you thinking? What do you think the future for Red Hood is? Obviously, he's getting a future now in Titans. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you think he's going to be introduced into the DCEU, or what do you think?
100%. I think he's being the DCEU. He's already been referenced, more than once. So I definitely think he is currently out there floating around in the DC universe somewhere. Mm-hmm. I think 100% he's gonna pop up at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. I can't seem to find a good photo. That's an alright photo. Let's see.
Now, with that being said, do you think it's gonna be a pop up as a main character, or is more of like a cameo or two?
I think it's gonna be a main character. It seems to be kind of a pivotal point for Batman, both in Batman v Superman and then the director's cut of Justice League. How that kind of lives with him and it kind of haunts him. So I think that's going to play a critical role. When the Red Hood does show back up, he's going to be a little detrimental to Bruce Wayne because for all of it, he thought he was dead for the longest time.
Yeah. Oh, that's also a good shout, Mac. Mac is talking about how he looks in Injustice 2, which he looks really good, and the guy who voices him as well in that is also amazing. This is how he looks in the Arkham games. He's not got the brown leather jacket, but it's like white, but he still looks amazing. But the way that he looks in Injustice as well, good. I love his Injustice 2 look. But yeah. So when it comes to my Nightwing, I definitely also feel like he should and could definitely have a future. The one thing that annoys the fuck out of me is the entire concept of him already being dead, because there is a gravestone in, I believe it's Batman v Superman. There's a great gravestone that says Richard Grayson. When I first saw that, I got so fucking pissed off, because I was like, okay, so have they killed off Nightwing already? Is he just dead? So he's been Robin, he's been Nightwing, but he's dead. Is that the concept that we're going after? By the way, here's the Injustice 2 Red Hood. He looks awesome. I love him. I main Suba actually.
I just dropped another picture too. They got a new, the Gotham Knights game coming out, and that's the Red Hood in that one as well.
Ooh, I do like it. I'll put that up as well. I do like it, but there's something about it. Like, okay, the mask looks a bit too much like Deadpool in my opinion.
Yeah,
and the entire thing just looks a bit. And I hope you understand what I mean when I say it looks a bit too tactical. Because with Red Hood, he's got a leather jacket and some tactical pants with some boots. I would say it's very well established that he doesn't have a shit ton of money. He kind of he's got the look before he gets all his money, which he obviously gets. This is how he looks. He looks really cool, but I don't hope they go that way with him, if you know what I mean.
That does look like Deadpool.
It does look like Deadpool. And
Gear's fine. It's just the helmet needs to be changed.
Yeah, the one I just sent, I'm kind of really feeling that one. I like that one better than the other Injustice 2.
Like, see, that one there is the one from Injustice 2, and I fucking love that. Obviously, there we got the comics as well. Now, when it comes to Nightwing, again, I hate that gravestone is there, but I hope, I swear to God, if that actually is where they're going with it, that Dick Grayson is already dead, then they fucked up massively.
It's not what I would... They're doing a completely different direction, and I think they should just go back to where they need to be with Nightwing. Because Dick Grayson, Nightwing, and there's also a Damian Wayne Nightwing that was floating around out there, and I did not like that at all.
Oh, yeah, no, it's in Injustice 2.
And he's also in the first Injustice.
And in the first Injustice. It is canon in certain comics. This is how it looks in the comics, by the way. In certain comics, it is canon that he accidentally kills Dick Grayson and then dons the Nightwing role as a homage to him. And in the comics, it's great in the comics. In Injustice 1, the comics for Injustice 1, it's great. In the Injustice...
It's horrible how he dies.
In Injustice 2, I haven't delved too much into the backstory of it. The way that he dies is absolutely horrible, but the way that everything around it is perceived is good. But the way that he dies is absolutely horrible. I hate that. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Well, on the topic of the Injustice anyways, with them releasing this animated film, I thought that'd be a good movie review after that comes out.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it already out?
Is it already out?
I think so.
Is it?
I'll Google it. Hang on, I'll look it up real quick.
Because is that for the New 52 universe, right?
I believe it is.
Because can I just say, one place that Warner Bros. And DC have kept on delivering is in the New 52 cinematic universe.
Yeah, it came out October 19th.
Okay,
I need to watch it.
I fucking love the New 52 movies. They're all amazing. This is a bit of the comics. I love those. I think Nightwing is done amazingly there. But yeah.
Now, when we talk about Nightwing, do we want blue Nightwing or red Nightwing? That's another question.
I'll take either or.
As the fan of the table, I would say red. Now, I love the blue, and the red obviously stems from comics that people have different opinions on, because the New 52 comics, they kind of like put down everyone's age, so everyone's like really young, which is a bit weird. But there, Nightwing in his red suit looks amazing. I love his red suit. I love his blue suit as well, and the blue suit has a tendency to look more tactical. The red suit has a tendency to just look like a suit, whilst the blue one sometimes looks a bit like armor, which I love both. I absolutely love both, but I would love for a red one. Now that we have the blue one in the TV show, a red one would be amazing to have both of them, because I love the character. I love both, so having both, one in the TV show, one on the big screen, would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. So
I'm feeling like a Red Hood and Nightwing from the Titans. So the Titans did really well with both of them.
Yeah.
I think that would be something to adventure into for movie-wise, live-action movie-wise. I think their suits look really good. I think the casting for both of them was really good.
Oh, yeah.
That would be something that would definitely be grounds to adventure into at some date.
Yeah. Which, by the way, it's probably about closing in on us wrapping up, but I will say, Deadpool, you know what you said about you being questionable or questioning Robert Pattinson?
Yes.
The guy who plays Nightwing in Titans, I didn't think that he was going to do a good job as Dick Grayson when I first, because obviously, you see him in like, whatchamacallit, in Pirates of the Caribbean
The
and
Giver.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't, because I love the characters, I just want the best for him, so I was like, I don't think he can do a great one. But the way that they made him look and all that stuff, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm on board. So you know what?
I thought he could have made a good. I thought he could have made a good Kid Flash.
It could
or
probably.
like
It could
another
probably.
step in. Because when I first saw what's his name, like Britton Thwarties or something like that, I can't remember.
Fucking hell,
It's some name like that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm not
check that.
sure.
Let's see. Brendan Thwaites.
It's somewhere in there.
Brendan Thwaites.
Yeah, when I first saw him, I thought he was Grant Gustin for just a second, just the way he looked.
Oh yeah.
I was like, is that the Flash? No, it's not the Flash.
He looks.
I thought he could pass as a pretty good Flash because
could.
him and Grant Gustin sound similar and they look very similar.
Yeah.
I figured they could do something like that where he's a Flash too, because there's several different Flashes. I thought he would make a good Flash, or like a kid Flash.
He could definitely, but I just love him as Nightwing, and again, like the casting of Jason Todd. Obviously, it's Scotty. You can say what you think about this, but I love the casting of Jason Todd. I think he's a great Jason Todd in the TV show. I don't know what you think.
I think he's too Damian Wayne in this show.
So I'm not gonna bullshit you. I have not watched a single episode of Titans.
I've watched a handful.
Okay, now I watched.
Yeah,
I watched all
a
of
few.
it. I watched all of it, and now I think that I can see what you mean about him being a bit Damian Wayne, but Jason Todd is a bit like Damian Wayne. They are very similar characters. They're both a bit rebellious. Obviously, one's a son, one isn't. But I think he's a great Jason Todd. He could easily have done a great Damian Wayne, obviously. But I think he's a great Jason Todd. I think he's an amazing casting. I think when they're doing the Red Hood thing now for the next season, cut his hair shorter. That's the only thing I want. Mature him a tiny bit, not too much, a tiny bit. Cut his hair shorter. That's all I want.
I think we should see a time jump because he looks like he's 12.
Yeah, but I think they could.
And then when you come back to Red Hood in the future, he's like in his late 20s, and it's like, huh?
I mean, I don't know. We could. We'll see how they do. I think they could probably do a decent job just putting a bit of makeup, making him look just a bit older.
I think how Red Hood is to me is he comes in as Robin as kind of like a teenager, like 19 years old. And then about 25 is when he should be killed.
Yeah, but I mean, he in the comics and stuff, he is like 12 when he becomes like every Robin is like below the age of 15.
Every Robin has come out young.
They're all below the age of 15. And I would say that this Damian Wayne, no, this this Jason Todd is he's probably like 16, 17. 16, I think. And then season two, I believe, is 1 year approximately, so then we would be 17. So I would say that having a 19, 20-year-old Red Hood isn't too off the mark, really.
No.
But it
completely
depends on how they do it.
Opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So for an unpopular opinion, I think for Nightwing at least, a good casting, and I would like to hear y'all's opinion on it. This will be my last input for this episode. But for a Nightwing, I kind of feel Hayden Christensen for that. I think that might be something interesting. He fits the body build, the hair fits.
My guy.
The attitude would fit.
My guy. I have been saying this for years. If you're ever going to cast a mature Nightwing, my guy, I've been saying this for years. If you're going to cast a Nightwing that is in his late 20s, early 30s, like the more mature one that is about to take up the mantle from Batman, Hayden fucking Christensen. Get the boy the fucking role. I've been saying that for years, my guy. So I don't give a fuck if it's unpopular because I 100%
for me,
support
it would
that.
be just like Ewan McGregor as Green Arrow. It would be too much for me. It would be just, why is Anakin in Nightwing's suit? That's how it would be for me.
But the difference is they cut his hair because he's got to have shorter hair, so you won't have the Anakin hair.
Right.
That's.
It'll still just be Anakin for me.
I mean, okay, yeah,
I'm going
Scott,
to.
What would your opinion on that be? Feeling Christensen as Nightwing?
After seeing him, okay, I'm not trying to shit on Star Wars, but I'm kind of trying to shit. I'm about to shit on the prequels a lot. Christensen as Anakin. I mean, first off, I thought he played a very, very whiny character. So after watching that, I can't really see him playing someone like Dick Grayson as Nightwing.
Okay, well, I can get that, but I would say, I've seen him in a lot more than just Star Wars. He could easily
Jumper.
Yeah, he could easily play a more mature character that has a bit of wittiness to it. He could play a mature character that has a bit jokes easily.
Yeah,
I've seen him in a lot, and he could definitely do that. Like there is a movie that he's in. I gotta find it, which is amazing. Let's see.
The issue with him when he played Anakin was that he was supposed to be whiny because Anakin is an immature Jedi. He's still learning. I understand completely your train of thought on this, but at the same time, I do believe that he can mature in the role if needed. Just being Anakin alone, that alone is he was supposed to play that whiny character. And that. Go ahead.
George Lucas has even said that Hayden Christensen played Anakin the exact way that he wrote it. He said that Anakin played exactly the way that he wrote the character. So he said when people say that they didn't like it, it's not that they didn't like Hayden, they didn't like the character of Anakin. And that's one of the big things that I have against it. Is like there's not Hayden that you're against, because George was on his side all the time telling him exactly what to do and how to do it. So it's not Hayden Christensen you don't like, it's Anakin Skywalker. And there is actually go ahead, I can take this after.
Like I said, I completely understand the train of thought where you're coming from with that, Scott. Because you're right, Anakin is a very whiny character, but I think he
doesn't get really more developed till Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think given a role like Nightwing, I think maybe he could really get a chance to kind of spread his wings. No pun intended. He could really
I was
get that chance. But I think. Go ahead.
So one thing about his character, like some actors, is to me, I feel like him as an actor, this is my personal opinion, he is known because of Star Wars. So every movie I see him in, all I see is Anakin Skywalker. Just like like freaking Daniel Radcliffe, all I see him is Harry Potter, no matter what movie he's in.
That's true.
I'm gonna this is off topic as hell right here, but when I was younger, when I was looking at the Ra's al Ghul between Arrow and the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, I used to watch a lot of classic Doctor Who. They would come on like the cable TV, and the guy who played the Master I thought would make a perfect Roz. I'm going to paste the picture in.
By the way, there is a Jumper 2. There is a Jumper 2 coming out where Hayden Christensen is confirmed, so that's also going to be a more serious role for him.
He's also confirmed.
But this guy, this guy, I think looking at him, he would have made a perfect Ra's al Ghul. Now, unfortunately, he was the first guy to play the Master in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But he passed away. He got in a car wreck in his time as the Master, and that's when they had to change up actors, and that's when the guy who played their Doctor stepped down. So he couldn't play the Master. He couldn't play Roz, but I think if they were going to have someone, they need to get someone similar to him, because he looks like someone who could play Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. Now,
I honestly, in my opinion, I think in the Christian Bale Batmans, I think that for Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson did an amazing job with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But and also with the Hayden Christensen thing, now there's a movie that he's in that came out the year before Attack the Clones called Life as a House.
Yep.
And in that movie, so Hayden Christensen plays the son, which I think his name is Sam. I think. I'm gonna just Google it so I don't forget. Okay, so Hayden Christensen's character is called Sam, and then his father, played by Kevin Kline, his name is George. And there is a scene where George's character, for some, I'm not going to spoil it, but for a certain reason, can't be there right now. They're building a house together, and then for whatever reason, he can't be there right now. And then there is this scene of Hayden Christensen there alone, which is just absolutely amazing. Like, if you think that Hayden Christensen is not a good actor, fucking watch that film, because especially that scene, beautiful, and his acting just shines through amazingly. And
well, I don't think Scott was saying that he's not a good actor. I think what he was saying is the Anakin role was just too whiny to be a good Nightwing.
Yeah. But I'm just pointing out that he could, and he was also in a movie called First Kill in 2017. I was just pointing out that he can play that serious role as well. Now obviously I get Scotty's point. I'm not gonna try and shut it down, because I get your point completely, and I don't want to push that down. But I personally think he could do a good job. Obviously, chances are we're probably not gonna see that unless they do some sort of time jump where they use a more veteran Nightwing, which I don't think is gonna happen, sadly. But it's in a perfect world, I would have him play Nightwing in some way, shape, or form.
There's only like 2 people I actually really think are actually kind of shitty actors. One of them being what the hell's his name?
Kylo Ren. Oh my god!
Really?
Adam something, right?
Adam Driver.
Wait, Adam Driver? Do you think that Adam Driver is a bad actor?
I cannot stand him.
What?
I love him. I loved him as Kylo Ren.
He should have stayed in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I
can't stand him.
I mean, okay, but how much have you seen of him?
I saw obviously the Star Wars. There's another movie that he plays in. There's one he plays in with, I think it's with Scarlett Johansson, I think.
Yeah, he played some like love movie once too, where he was supposed to be this like funny brother or funny boyfriend or something, but it was absolutely, his acting skills need major work.
Again, like I've also seen a good amount. Like there's a lot of, like, for example, like Oscar Isaac and stuff like that. There's certain actors that I've seen a lot of, and Adam Driver is a great actor. I'm just gonna put that. I've seen so much of him. He's a fucking phenomenal actor. He's
a pretty good actor, but I think he gives the sequel Star Wars movies a performance they do not deserve. Because Adam Driver as Kylo Ren,
I think he
carries those movies.
He carries the sequel trilogy on his back. I'm just gonna say that straight away.
Even though he's a Anakin copy paste,
but also
hugely just Anakin written over again.
That thing you said. Remember what I said at the start of the podcast, guys? When I said that actors completely depends on the director and how they move them.
Yeah. And how their characters are written.
If you have seen a bad performance of Adam Driver, I can almost guarantee ain't his fault. And it might not even be the role's fault. It's probably the producer or director, whoever made him play the role like he did, could completely be up to them. I'm not saying he might have just had a bad movie, which I think every actor has had a movie where they've just not been as good. Everyone has. So I'm not going to say that. He might have just had a bad performance in that movie.
But my second one, maybe a very unpopular opinion. I think he puts out phenomenal movies, but Keanu Reeves is a terrible actor.
Okay, I think it's time to end the podcast.
We gotta kill Sam.
Okay. So Dylan O'Brien and Thomas McDonald are also 2 names that are being shouted out here by Mac, which are also 2 pretty good shouts. I've seen Thomas, in 100, and then Dylan O'Brien obviously in Maze Runner and stuff. 2 very good shouts as Nightwing, I would say, both of them.
Ian Somerhalder.
Yes. But all right.
Okay, I couldn't fucking do
it. It's time to have the podcast. Now, again, guys, the time that you were seeing on the podcast is obviously not the time because we had to start it up first. So we're probably at about 140, 145 now, which is okay. But
I want to throw this out there that we don't film this like in the middle of the day. We film this at night. Like it is nearly 11 o'clock for me right now.
Yeah.
So
it's 5
was sitting here staring at. I was sitting here staring at the clock like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta work tomorrow.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning for me. So I think now I'm throwing you a bit on the spike here, but Scotty, do you want to do a bit of an outro and wrap this up for us?
I can shit something out for you. So,
all right.
Plays guitar.
Plays his guitar.
I just start ripping on the guitar right now.
It's the
yeah. All right. And anything you want to say, Scotty?
Well, it was a great privilege to be on your podcast for the first time. Hopefully, this won't be the last time. I definitely enjoyed it. So I definitely enjoy being able to talk about this kind of stuff. It's kind of like my whole purpose in life is literally just talk about anything that people may consider nerdy, whether it be like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, video games, everything. It's like everything that I love all mashed into one. So this is like right up my alley as far as everything I like to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Share our podcast, or we're going to send Killer Croc after you via toilet.
Bring him.
This is me talking to the viewers.
Yeah. It's the viewers. We threaten them at the end of each podcast. We go like, "Hey, listen, you better follow the Twitch. You better sub to the YouTube.
You better follow.
Or
listen Killer Croc's gonna crawl out of your toilet.
Killer Croc's coming after you, and King Shark if you're lucky. All right.
If you're lucky.
Scotty, just a quick little outro. Saying goodbye and all that stuff. The floor is yours.
You want me to just say goodbye to the podcast, or to close out the entire podcast?
Close out the entire podcast.
Close it.
All right. So for those of you that actually tuned in, we appreciate everyone coming and listening to all of our little shenanigans. If you haven't already, click that little follow button below to stay up to date on future podcasts, and we'll see you guys all in the next episode.